We all know that the subcompact crossover market is very competitive. A lot of Chinese brands have come in and taken over and really made that a mainstream segment in the Philippines. It's one of the higher selling car types in the market now. And you have cars like the Geely Coolray, the MG ZS. These were the cars that really brought the segment to life. There's another car though that I think is flying under the radar so far that I think could potentially be the next big thing. Over there is the recently launched GAC GS3 Emzoom R-Style, and I think this car has a lot to offer for the price they're selling it at. One of the best things I think about the Emzoom is the way it looks. I mean, just look how striking and unique it looks. You have this nice gray color that's contrasted by a lot of the R-Style features, like these contrasting orange lines and features. You have that over at the front splitter over there. You have that here on the 19-inch alloy wheels. You have these nice angular, aggressive, sporty, sort of avant-garde details that really make the car a looker. It's not just something that looks different. It also looks really good. It reminds me basically of like a very spiced up version of a European brand, like something out of Peugeot or something out of Citroën. It's very European in terms of its influence, but my God, it's really such a good looking car. So you have other features that include, you know, these lines here, these textured lines you can find here in this quarter panel over by the spoiler. You have these nice pop-out door handles that open up when you unlock the car. All these things, and basically in a sea of cars that you normally see nowadays in the Philippines, it's nice to know that if you get the Emzoom, people are gonna know either it's you or that you're somebody that has some sort of stylish taste. So let's talk about what are some of the things that you get from the GS3 Emzoom R-Style in terms of features, creature comforts, and all of that. So inside, I first want to talk about the design. In terms of design, I can say that GAC really did a very decent job of making the interior at least appeal to somebody or anybody. You have this contrasting sort of beige, orangey material here that's soft touch with some white lines that cut across it. It's just something you don't normally see in cars nowadays. Brands are more inclined to put piano black or like chrome or whatever. So it's nice that GAC decided to do something just to break the monotony of color of just pure black. I like that. It's good. You even get some of that contrasting colorway here in the seats and all of that. It just makes it a whole other experience. Something that you don't really think about, because really 90% of the time you're inside the car. So it's nice that they made an effort to make it stand out. So in front of me you have this fully digital instrument cluster. It has all the vehicle information. So that's there. It's a good screen. I think it's legible. It's high def enough for me to understand everything. It's not too big as to obstruct any views. In fact, it's really low and there's nothing here on top, so I can really get a good view out from the windscreen here. So it's nice. It's ergonomically speaking very good. You have the buttons here from the steering wheel. So over here, the left side is the control for the instrument cluster. Again, you have controls here for the adaptive cruise control, the lane keep assist, and all of that. And on the right side, you have the controls for the infotainment screen here, the touchscreen system there. You also have a button for the active exhaust, very nice. And you even have the lap timer here, just like the EMPOW. So that's there. I like also how chunky this steering wheel is. It feels so heavy duty. It's something you'd really want to throw around because this is a car that's really supposed to be a little bit more sporty. Here, they have this screen here. It's fast enough. I like that it doesn't really lag too much. It's easy to understand. It's easy to press the buttons here, go to the settings and whatever, and all of that. Although my main problem is this is I think GAC's most most updated model. It's really new. They just launched it a few months ago. It still doesn't have Android Auto, so it's really that one thing. It would have been really good if they had that already. But it does have Apple CarPlay, so if you're an Apple user, then good for you. But if you're an Android user, then boo-hoo. So that's there. You have your control for the climate control system here. It's an automatic climate control system. It's single zone only, but nonetheless, it's automatic, not bad. Although, I'm not really a fan of the buttons, because if you'll see it later, we'll B-roll it. When you twist it, because it's like a rotary type, you can never really center it. So it's kind of annoying because they're never at center, but that's only if you're OC. If you're not, then it's not really an issue. Below that, you have this big pad here. So there are two sides. There's a line here that separates it. On the left side, you have a wireless charging pad. On the right side, you just have some normal storage there. You have two cup holders here. And over here, you have your gear lever, which is, it's really small. And there's like this crystal in the middle that like highlights this more luxurious vibe. At first, I didn't like it, but honestly, it's not so bad. I like the size though, because when you're just shifting from reverse to neutral to drive, it's easy to use. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no lag. And you have your parking brake here. And up here, you have a really big panoramic sunroof. In terms of everything of what you would expect from a car nowadays, you have all the features you could want. Nothing really is missing per se, although I have one ergonomic issue, is that there's no physical button for the volume knob. I don't find it here. I don't see it here also on the screen. So far, what I've only been able to find out is that you can control it here from the steering wheel. So if you're a passenger, then you're just at the mercy of the driver if he wants to make it loud or quiet or whatever. So that's really the only thing. But other than that, interior's fine. I really like that it's comfortable, it's nice to look at, and it's a very good place to be. So I have to point out here in the second row that you actually get a lot of interior space. So I have a lot of leg room. This is my driving position. I have lots of space there. I can easily cross my legs without hitting the seat. Headroom's perfectly fine also. So it's nice that they thought about the second row passengers also, but it comes at a small sacrifice because the cargo space is a little small when these second row seats are up. But in any case, you get a center armrest with two cup holders, single air conditioning vent there, and a single charging port there, USB charging port to charge your device. Other creature comforts, well, it also has a surround sound DTS sound system that is pretty decent. I mean, it's not the best, but it's nice to know that they went through an effort to try to make the sound system in the car just that little bit better. So now it's time to talk about how it drives, and that's actually a very essential part of the Emzoom experience. GAC, as I mentioned during the EMPOW reviews and the other videos and articles I've written about it, they're more inclined to produce and offer more sporty cars for, you know, the public, as opposed to the people offering hybrids and EVs and all of that. I like that they're kind of taking that direction. It just adds a little bit more excitement to the market, and at the same time, it gives a enthusiast's perspective on what we would like to drive. So driving the Emzoom, what I really noticed was how on normal speeds, like we are now on the highway, it's comfortable, it's quiet, there's not much, you know, noise and whatever. But I like that it's easy to get to know as a car. It's small, so it's easy to maneuver in the city, it's easy to drive, there's not much there's not much problems in terms of learning how to maneuver it. It's easy. The steering is very light. The throttle is responsive enough. The brakes are actually very good. It's one of the best things about this car. I really like the brake feel. So that's in normal driving. In the city, I can get around 8 to 9 kilometers per liter in terms of like heavy traffic. So it's not great, but then again, with the traffic nowadays, I'm glad that the number is around that much. Anything lower, that would have been some point of concern. But 8 to 9 kilometers per liter, it's really not bad at all. But in terms of dynamic driving, that's where this car really comes into play, because this is supposed to be some sort of a taller, slightly bigger iteration of the EMPOW sedan, which is supposed to be, as I mentioned, a really sporty kind of car. But this one takes some of the characteristics of the EMPOW in terms of being sporty. So it has the active exhaust, which sounds very good if you ask me. It's nice that you can turn it on and turn it off with the press of this button here. And I also like that this car comes, well, as far as I'm concerned, as standard with Pilot Sport Cup Michelin tires from the get-go. So you really know just by the tire choice what GAC is trying to achieve with this car in terms of driving feel. And when you're driving it dynamically, you can really feel that the car was more biased towards a sporty feel, because it's stiff enough to handle sharp corners, but not too uncomfortable to make you think that why did I buy this car? It's so uncomfortable. It's actually really not. I like the dampening of the suspension, the ride over bumps and the many undulations here on the highway. I'm not hopping up and down, or I'm not sinking in my seat over bumps and whatever. It's perfectly tuned, if you ask me. And in terms of the dual clutch transmission, I can say that it's the least intrusive dual clutch I've experienced in a long time. It doesn't feel like it's, what do you call this? It doesn't feel like an old dual clutch wherein when you're on an incline, you roll back a few meters before going back up again. It's very well tuned, it's very well put together. I think the many years of GAC making a car is finally starting to show with their newer products now. So in the Emzoom, they've done a really good job in terms of making it feel and drive dynamically. The steering in dynamic mode, which is Sport Plus mode, you can really tell that the brand really wanted to make you feel, how do I say this, sporty, because the car really moves. It likes to take corners. You can kind of plant it where you want. I'm not gonna say it's like a sports car wherein you can really point and shoot the car. No, it doesn't have that capability, but it has enough sportiness to make you want to drive faster. And that powertrain, that really quick engine, is just, it's such a good thing. So it's a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. It makes about 175 horsepower, same as the EMPOW sedan. And how do I say this? It's very good. It's I won't say that it's the most responsive thing out there, but when you really want to get going, it doesn't leave you wanting more. It's more than enough to either scare you or or not. It's an approachable kind of sportiness. It's not something scary to drive per se, but if you really want to drive it hard, it will drive hard. And what I like most about the Emzoom is that it gives you that overall feeling that you're not driving anything normal. It's not like any other compact crossover out there wherein it's just, oh, I just bought it because I want space. What you get here is a car that's capable of being dynamic, but at the same time it's also capable of being very comfortable if you want it to be. And that, I think, GAC has done well in terms of translating the qualities, the sporty qualities of the EMPOW, but at the same time not forgetting that primarily the people who would buy a compact crossover are also people who like going on long journeys, people who have small family, people who need the room for people and for luggage and all of that. Although it's not all good, I have to mention that there are a few things that I would want them to improve in terms of driving characteristics. So one thing is, this is the top of the line variant. This is the R style. And in the EMPOW, once you get to the top of the line of the EMPOW, you get paddle shifters. Here you don't get any. There's no manual shifting capability whatsoever, and that takes away a pretty sizable chunk of the driving dynamic, the dynamic driving experience, because you just, when you want to downshift and upshift on your own, you just can't. And there are moments wherein the dual clutch can't react as well as you, because you're the only one who truly knows what gear you want to be and how you really want to drive it in a sporty way. And it just takes away a pretty sizable amount of fun for me when you're driving it in a sporty way. So I wish they put even just manual shifting mode here in the gear lever. I mean, that's my really only main concern about it. Other than that, I would be perfectly fine with it. So in terms of driving the Emzoom, you get, like I mentioned earlier, you get the nice qualities of the EMPOW, the sportiness of the GAC brand now, with the added practicality of being a little taller and a little bigger than a normal sedan. So overall, if you think the EMPOW is just too sedan for you, then the Emzoom, I'm happy to report, it's more than enough to satisfy your needs in terms of driving dynamically, your practicality, and even being comfortable. So how much does this very nice to drive and very nice to look at GS3 Emzoom cost? This top-of-the-line variant costs 1,198,000 pesos, which, as you know, for any car in the market now, is a very competitive and very affordable price. You get these looks, you get these driving dynamics, and you get all the features you could possibly want in any modern car nowadays. So if you're looking for something that's not a sedan and you want something a little taller and something that's fun to drive and engaging to look at, then maybe the GS3 Emzoom R-Style is just the car for you. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel below, and also don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. This has been Pablo Salapantan of YugaAuto. Thank you for watching. Paalam!